we're in. We've dived in. We're in the water. We might as well keep swimming. Listen to that. That is just flowing quotes from me. And that is going to be used for many generations, and you're more than welcome to it.
All right, we'll keep that in, and we'll keep that in whilst we welcome them to the second episode of the Gobstopper Podcast.
Yeah, we got a name now. Because like we had the first one, and we have a whole bit in the first one where we're saying we don't even know what we're going to call it. And then we go on saying we don't give a fuck what we call it. And then we went away and made like a little funny picture of me and you and called it Gobstopper.
Yeah, I mean, coming up with a name, I don't really remember what the first suggestion was, but I do remember you just saying that you wanted to call it chewing gum.
Yeah, I don't know why. I like the way those words sound, and I thought, I don't know why, I had a cool idea of like what the logo, you know, the Fight Club logo, where it's Fight Club, right? And that's on
honest, I've never seen Fight Club.
Right. Don't talk about it then, mate. Right? But
I couldn't if I wanted to.
Nah, but it's on a bar of soap in the thing. But it looks cool. And I was like, hey, we could do a similar thing with that. But you weren't happy, and this is a two-way street. So we had to keep looking, and so we looked. We were thinking like weird inanimate objects. So we just spent like 10 minutes sending each other inanimate objects, and then I haven't even seen a gobstopper. I don't think I've even ever had one, but I thought it's a good word, so we went with it.
I just thought that chewing gum didn't sound enough of too much of a title. You know, it didn't sound like a title. Whereas Gobstopper, especially because, you know, pun, play on words, Gobstopper, can't stop the gobs, as they say.
And it is voices speaking. So yeah, worked perfectly. Did you get any good feedback? Anyone happy? Anyone liking it? We've got some fans now.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I wasn't really surprised, you know. I knew we were going to take off, probably be the next big thing. You know, we put our predictions forward in the last podcast, you know, Leo and all.
He's been this. That's been Leo for me.
Yeah, too much, honestly. But got a few people coming back saying that they enjoyed it, wanted to see more, and that's always good. So we are back, and that's exactly what we plan to do.
We are back. I got bloody mate. I was going to get a meal deal earlier. You know, just going about my normal life. I wanna stick to my normal life, and I got stopped and hounded by the paparazzi, mate. So it's a price we got to pay for this kind of shit, but we're committed to it.
We do it for the fans. That's all we can say, really.
The fan base. Little shout out. Top fan Harry and Lucy. They're our top fans at the minute.
Yeah, shout out Harry and Lucy, listening to every podcast we put out, even though it's only one.
Of our podcast they listen to. They asked me to give them a shout out. This isn't some weird thing where I'm trying to sort of, right, they asked.
Yeah, if you want to shout out in the next episode, let us know, and we'll probably say no, but
we could promote your business if you want to sponsor like your window business.
Yeah.
We've got, don't worry about it.
To be honest, only window businesses. We're not really interested in anything else.
Very passionate about both the installation and maintaining of windows. So hit us up.
But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, first episode, we went down quite an interesting path, I'd say. It was a topic that we randomly came upon and we actually did research into. This time, going to be a little bit more anecdotal, something that hopefully most people can relate to. And it's sort of a guide to degeneracy is what I called it.
Right. Yeah, because what it was, we were wanting, because we got some good. I keep saying we got good feedback, as if we really hit it off. We got like a couple of people saying they enjoyed it, but so we wanted to do another one, right? And then we were thinking, but we didn't know what to talk about, and we didn't want it to be a fucking like bullshit one because we're only 2 in, and I feel we need to save that for at least episode 4 or 5 when we're giving up.
Yeah. Because let's be honest, who knows how long this is going to last? Yeah,
so I looked up podcast ideas, and then there was this thing where it was like not actual straight ideas, but it was like types of podcasts, right? And there was one called like the Preparation Podcast, and it could be like for baking, it could be for getting you ready for school and uni,
maybe prom, a little guide to
prom. Yeah, something shit like those,
something
right?
Boring.
Yeah, something load of bollocks like those. So we've taken a little twist, and we were thinking, what's something we both have in common?
One of the only things that we know about
is getting fucked up in our teens in rural England.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere.
Look, we're very jealous deep down of all these London teenagers who have a fucking good time. But we had a good time in our own way, and we feel it's time to project that to the world of how to have a successful night out blueprinted for the rural teenager. But not now, because we're in a pandemic. So don't any of this you hear, we will put this out here like straight away, right? Anything we say here, we do not. What's the word to say? Encourage. Encourage, yeah. We don't encourage this, all right? However, we did do it, and we did have a good time doing it. Not encouraging, but... Not now, though. Stay inside. Genuinely on that one. Not a joke. Don't be a bellend. All right? Okay. So, yeah, we're doing an average good night out in rural England as an under 18-year-old who can't go to pubs and shit. And we've broken it down. Casey, do you want to... No, should we read out the subtitles, or should we just, as they come, bring
I
them
don't
up?
know, too fair. I think it's a good place to start, is just saying, we tried to come up with the 5 sort of steps that kind of make up a shitty night out in the middle of nowhere. And those was the prep. That's always the first point, the prep, everything that goes into the prep. There's a lot. You'd be surprised. Prep.
Yeah, like the first complete bare bones of it.
Yeah.
First idea.
Which we actually have a lot of experience with. Because I know you hosted a good few parties. I never hosted a party, but I co-hosted pretty much all of them. But then after the prep, you're figuring out the location, how to get there, how to get everyone else there, because some people just don't know the area. And, you got to get the veterans on it at that point, you got to sort them out. Then it's the alcohol. That's the hardest part. And I wouldn't recommend, again, not promoting any of this, but that is probably the most fun part, to be honest. Then it's the actual party, probably the least fun part of the whole process.
No, the most fun. That's the wrong.
And then the after party, which for me is the most fun part.
Can we give, without saying any specifics, again, paparazzi, we want to keep them on their toes, we want to challenge them. So let's not name any specific locations, but let's give a little overview of the experience of the place the setting that we're talking about. All right, you watched Hot Fuzz, okay?
Yeah.
It's like a weirder version of Hot Fuzz, and I emphasis on the weird bit, all right? It's a place where people get trapped, and then they never leave, and then they just live in this weird little bubble, and it's sad. I've a very strong opinion of it.
But without the murders.
Oh yeah, there's not really murder.
Yeah, it's a pretty mellow place actually.
It's very peaceful, but it's like proper in the sticks. Like you've got a few pubs, most people know everyone, and then you just sort of have then teenagers thrown out. It's like the average age is like over 80, but then you have then this weird young population who, if anything, are more wild because they have to act up because they don't have cool things like cities do.
And I'm going to have to out myself from the start here. Me and Jacob have 2 pretty different perspectives on this because Jacob was actually from the area, but I went to boarding school in the area. So yes, I am a boarding school boy. Feel free to take the piss out of me.
You're a state school boarding school boy, though.
Yeah, state school boarding. It wasn't even a boarding school. It was a boarding house. So,
And I lived right next door.
Yeah, and that's how we became friends.
That's how we vibed.
A little bit of Casey and Jacob backstory for you there.
We're already trying to sort of put the puzzle together.
Yeah, for everyone trying to figure us out.
So I'm going to set the scene. All right. We're setting sort of early first year sixth form age now. No?
Yeah, so 17 about.
16, 17, yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm going to cut in here for a second, all right? There's probably no one from America listening to this, but just in case anyone is, all right? 21? Really?
Yeah, grow up.
Come on, man.
Grow up is what I say to you. But, all right, so you're in sixth form, right? I'm going to set the scene. Okay, you've got your core group of mates on a table, and you're in those free periods where you've got nothing going on, and it's coming to... we normally start planning it on a Thursday. That would be the thing. It would be very, very late to the time. This wouldn't be a stick in your calendars thing. This would be it's coming now. And we think, look, what are we doing this weekend? All right, we're gonna get something doing. And then the idea of the party grew. It's been planted now in the minds of everyone there, and it grew.
Well, that was to be fair, that is actually a big part of it, because you mention it to one person and you know that one person's going to reach another 5.
Yeah, but you've got to keep your group, like, because you've got your like committee, you've got like the fucking round table, right? You've got the boys who you think about the list, right? You think
the list is a big part.
The list is a big, yeah. Imagine fucking whipping out your note. You know, I was looking through my notes when I was getting this, and you know how your notes on like phones and shit, they like stay there if you have like the same, what's it like, ID, Apple ID or something. So it stays there, right? And I still have some of the party lists on my phone.
You actually still have some of them, jeez.
Yeah, I just suddenly found these weird lists of like people, and I'm like, it's a party list, don't worry. But yeah, so the list happens first. And when you're making the list, it's like, my parties, you sort of 30 people is all right. You think that's a manageable time, but as soon as you think of a figure, you've always got to allow like plus 10, because there's always going to be more people.
Yeah. That's what's crazy as well, right? I will never understand those people who manage to have like 60 plus.
My biggest was 50.
I don't remember which one that was. So...
The first one.
Oh, yeah. No, I do remember that one now. See, but that didn't seem out of control. Didn't seem out of control.
Well, they fucking overthrew us at the gates. It felt... we were holding the walls, going, no. And then suddenly we were like, the more and more alcohol we had, we were like, come on in. Come on.
Yeah, but back in the day when most people in our year were, probably 5'7", maybe even shorter than that. But I'd hit my growth spurt early. So I was the guy that had to stand at the front.
You were on the door. I was like fucking like Lord Farquaad figure behind you going, get him.
But nowadays, it's the exact opposite. Nowadays, I'm at the back. I'm the one that's just at the back. Like, I'll let you guys handle that.
Hours. So yeah, so you got the idea brewing. And I know we said location after the prep, right? But when we say location, there are other bits. So the actual finding of the location, or like getting a look, that's right at the start. Because you like forget that. You're like, look, we've got the idea of the party, we're going to have a party. But then you put the location for some, like, too late to one side. You don't think about it. But when you finally think about it, it's rare that someone has a house. It is rare. And that is...
And normally it takes some convincing as well. Normally, you know, you do have to, you got to kind of bump them on the shoulder, say,
come on.
Do you reckon any chance, on the off chance, party at yours this weekend?
I'll buy you a Pasta King pot.
Yeah, you throw a party, super noodles on me.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's on me. Don't forget about this one. All right, it's all right. So you get that. But then, I mean, we have to put this to one side, especially, we're going to mainly be talking about the parties, right? But for us, a lot of the time, there was this one hill, this one park, and that was where a huge amount of our social lives happened. In any weather, we would go to this park.
Yeah, anyone who knows it will know it rhymes with arsehole.
Sort of.
Yeah, come on, that rhymes.
More sort of, well, like a near rhyme. Sort of.
If you say it in the correct accent, right? Arsehole.
Or if you say the actual word in the right accent, so it's with oh no. Sorry, I don't
know if that one works.
Like, anyone will know. They'll know. If you're from this area, you will know.
If you know, you know. That's what they say.
It's like weirdly seems to be like an unwritten rule that you go there if you live. Like all the years go there, so it's like it's a fucking outdoor club. Right? That's all.
But outside of that, I mean, that's more specific to us. So we did want to keep this broad so that anyone can sort of understand in their different areas. Because I feel like literally everyone, especially after being at university as well, you've talked to people, you realise you all had the exact same struggles. Trying to figure out how you were going to throw parties before.
Like, for a rural teenager, I think drinking in the park is a known thing. Okay, so like that, what we're saying is you bring a shitty speaker that dies within like an hour in, because the guy's got so much fucking flex that he's the one with the speaker, he forgot to fucking charge it. And then we're doing that thing, you know, where like someone has some shitty keys and they're cutting open a fucking can of Thatcher's, and he's like, if you put the phone in the can, it amplifies it by 20.
Yeah, right? I remember that, yeah.
So we then got fucking like rattly tunes blaring off on a park picnic bench. But it's a good time. But back to the actual ideal scenario, right? Say someone's got a house, okay, the first thing you don't really want when they have like their parents upstairs. You know that when they're like, yeah, you can come round, but my mum is going to be upstairs.
Did that ever happen? I don't know if I was ever.
Yeah, it did happen a couple of times, and it's like it's just a bit weird because it's like even if you don't see them because they don't like come down, they stay in their room, but you know they're there. So
yeah. I suppose it depends on the type of party as well, though. For that, I mean, there's definitely some more mellow ones we've been to, which I don't think that's too bad. But when you're trying to crack out all the different drinking games and everything, it does feel kind of weird knowing that person's parents are just upstairs.
We could come down, like crack open a box of muesli.
Yeah.
Midway.
Although, to be honest, knowing myself, if they did want to come down, I'd be like, "Come on, join in." Just a couple drinks.
See, you're the person that those parents are trying to avoid.
No.
Right?
You cannot say that. You cannot put that slander out there because they
don't want to bump into you. In
parents love me.
Yeah, they do. But when they're trying to come down, right, they're getting their sort of mint Baileys. All right, they're having a nice little Baileys in the evening. They're fixing up, but they're still trying to stay out the way because otherwise their daughter's going to say they're embarrassing them. And then they see you fucking pulling them over to a game of beer pong that they never wanted to be a part of. You've got them. Your eyes have locked across that fucking kitchen, mate, and you have them now. That you're a villain in that sense.
Listen, anyone can relive that little bit of youth if they're given the opportunity, and I'm just supplying that opportunity.
But then it gets to a point where you don't want them there for too long. You don't want a dad that then sort of gets too into it and then he's there at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got him in the smoking area.
Enough tangents. We'll actually get back onto the guide, or not a guide, but the list.
So the prep, right? So you got the party, you've got the house. The house is secured. You've managed to bully someone into holding a party. I've written on my prep because the thing is, we both written different things, and we want to see how they sort of differ and things. So for me, I've said as well, I'm thinking of my outfit, right? I'm getting it bloody sorted. And in those days, I was in a weird vibe. I was sort of like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Tyler Creator sort of weird crossover because I thought I was edgy and cool. And so I was getting that sorted out. And then you got your fucking shockwaves, gel up your hair. Fucking cool spike. I used the shockwaves messy effect because, I'm that kind of guy. And then, again, we said earlier, I was a little dude back in the day.
Yeah.
I had to rely on the other senses, my smell. So I was like, I'll aftershave it up. But the only aftershave I had was like one in the fucking Boots discount aisle, which was like a bottle of Old Spice for $5.99. And I'd splash, and it was like, it'd give me like a rash on my neck because it's the most burning shit. But I'm coming in with a bang. That's my bit for my start.
I can't relate to any of that at all. Because I think around this age, I really didn't care too much about what I wore. Most of the time, it would just be whatever my mum or my sister bought me for Christmas. And yeah, other than that, hair didn't matter to me either. I just had long hair, the typical sort of, not quite Justin Bieber, but
pretty much.
Pretty much Justin Bieber. Yeah, I'll take that. But for me, the hassle in the prep was I had to get signed permission in order to, because obviously I went to a boarding house and you had to get signed permission to be able to go out, which involved your parents as well as the signed permission for the house that you're staying at. More often than not, Jacob had me sorted on that one. Yeah, if you guys thought it was a struggle just having to ask your parents, imagine having to get written permission every single time you wanted to stay out for a night.
Yeah, it was because that was the shit thing. Our parties would start ridiculously early because we had a huge boarding house group of mates, and so like they'd all have to leave at like 10:30.
Yeah,
because they hadn't got permission to go back, and then like the party would just sort of be left, just sort of like there's like 10 people or something, and we're like,
the after party would start at like 12 for us because everyone would have left, so we'd just be like, well, I guess it's an early night.
We're pre-drinking at 5:30. We're moving on to the alcohol though. Okay, before we get, so you're not at the party yet. All you've got is someone's agreed to the house. Okay, you put the list out. All right, you put the list. You've normally created a little Facebook group chat. Yeah. All right, and you've called it a fun, witty name because you've got to be charming and on the boat with some fun, wild party vibes. Right, but Okay, so the list is out there, but now you've got to acquire the alcohol. Okay, because if you're a British teenager, like we were saying about these American teenagers who apparently don't drink as much as us, okay, we do drink a lot. And at that age, we drink more because of the fact that it's so hard to get hold of. So anything you can get is good. There are no luxuries here.
Yeah, right? It's a fact that the population of the UK could quite easily outdrink the entire population of the US. There's no argument against it. That is subjective fact.
We volunteer to represent.
Yeah, we'll captain it.
Fucking come on then. All right. And then, yeah, so for me, all right, my mum was all right with alcohol. Like, she'd give me alcohol, but she didn't like the idea of spirits, okay? So she'd buy me a 4-pack of fucking Thatcher's Gold, which, although it's a good starting point, all right, and you would keep it because it's a good basis, it's not fucking enough.
It's not.
So that's not, you haven't solved any of your problems yet.
It doesn't taste good either. That's the real issue here.
I'm about the cider life because I'm a country lad.
I love cider, don't get me wrong, I'm a cider drinker, but Thatcher's Gold, it tastes bad. That's just a fact. You're going to get Thatcher's, you're going to go for Haze. I
go for Haze now. I only discovered it this summer. Yeah, so you've got your 4-pack, all right, and you've got it in your rucksack, sorted, ready to go. That's not enough, okay? So you've got to find either a sibling, an older sibling, but sometimes mine were pretty good to me, but they were at uni, so I didn't have them all the time. So you've got to get a sibling who will get you alcohol, or you got to get an older mate. And as you know, at those times, like, it was quite, we had mates in the year above, a couple, but like really at school, you sort of stick to your own years, don't you? Like, there's normally like...
I feel like that's sort of where I came in a lot of the time, because being at the boarding house, you know, I literally lived with people in the year above me, year below me, all different years. And I don't know, I've always gotten along well with people that are older than me. So it was easy enough for me to get some sort of connection, get some sort of plug.
You tired them up.
But then came, as everyone else knew that I was good friends with them, people saying, "Hey, could you get this as well, and then just bring it to the party for me?" And before you know it, I'm carrying 2 crates and 3 bottles down to the house. And
well, the issue is, though, even before that, you've got a poor girl on her own who just happens to be 18, who we have fucking sent on this dangerous... Because our Tesco's, right, because it was such a small town, and they know that there's, like, teenagers going out and wanting to do things, they're on it. Like, if they saw you, right, walking in with the 18-year-old, but then you leave them, and then the 18-year-old buys it, they will not do it because they'll be like, you walked in with that person. They're like on it. They are fucking like, weird.
They were super strict. I remember I'm sure this happens in other shops as well, to be honest, but you'd have a guy that would literally follow you around the shop. I know in our Tesco there was an older man that he would literally follow you around the shop, even if you just pop it in for some like Haribos. He would follow you.
Bastard. Fuck the police.
Yeah, he wasn't the police, but fuck that guy.
Fuck him. All right. But no, yeah, so you're all waiting around the side of the wall, and this girl has got this list of fucking shit. She can't go in openly with a list, alright, so she's got to memorise it. It's the most fucking brain-testing activity. But then you're like, hey, I thought of something else, or she's going to get that wrong. So you have to, like, do these little sort of drive-by type messaging passes where you walk past her in the aisle, and you're like, you don't know her. So you do something, like, to make you look less suspicious, like you whistle. Or something like that, you know.
Or
something
even just looking at it and picking it up, saying, "Nah, I'm not a fan of that one," as if you're saying it to yourself.
Or going,
say it out loud.
Can't wait till I'm 18. I'm putting it down. But you've got to do so. You got to go past her, and you got to go that one there, the fucking left one. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I never did that, so it was very entertaining for me watching all of you guys trying to do that.
These fellas in their best fucking threads, ready for the party. They're out to impress the fucking stench, all right, of Old Spice that's taken up the lanes, the aisles, as we got this thing. But anyway, she's done it. You have succeeded. She has copped the alcohol, and you're all waiting outside for her to come out as she comes with a fucking bags full of like anything we could get at, which was normally like spirits, straight spirits we would go for a lot of the time.
So you've somehow pulled it off, right? And then comes the weird bit of like 10 kids walking through the middle of town just carrying a bunch of booze. And you know, at that age you think this looks perfectly normal. Now if I saw that I'd be like, There's definitely something wrong there. There's no way those guys are relating.
You've got to that age where you would call the police.
I would not call the police.
You see them as a threat.
I'd be like, I don't know. I'd walk up and I'd say, "Give me a couple cans and I'll let this slide."
Yeah, and that's again like our police force of that town was mainly like community support officers who can't arrest you, but they would do that bastard thing of like taking your alcohol off you at the fair and just pouring it out in front of you, and so like they're on you. So you've got it's a trek like to this party which is on the other side of town, and Tesco's is over here. So you've got to somehow smuggle it out, which is where Casey's backpack of dreams, and which you guys need to take notes of. Obviously, not now.
Yeah, I'll put that out there, right? No matter what age you are, right? Just bring a backpack with you. Just even if there's like barely anything in it, right? You will be the pack mule of your group, but you'll also be the savior of your group.
Yeah, I never brought the backpack.
I kept nothing in my bag except from plasters and my inhaler. That is all I ever had in that bag until someone needed something put in there. And often more than not, it was alcohol.
Yeah, I remember you fucking like rattling along.
Yeah, you bring a couple t-shirts as well to wrap them up in so that they don't clang.
Yeah, you don't want them to rattle, especially if you're then, which may we say we're not encouraging this, right? Ending the night and having alcohol left over, right? If you've worked that hard for the alcohol, you are finishing the alcohol. But if you do, and you're going back into your house and your mum has said no spirits, right? You've got your Thatcher's Gold, you've got your 4-pack, that should be sufficient enough. But you're going back in, right? Wrap it up. Go secretive.
Yeah, wrapping it up is always the best way to get 100%. Wait, you know what? Yeah,
in many ways.
You know what? In many ways, that is great advice.
Nice, that's quite a nice little message.
Always wrap it up, yeah.
Didn't like me say that again.
Right, sorry, I'll retract that one.
Yeah. We put the message across. Alright, so you got there. Okay?
You finally got the alcohol, you've made the trip, dodged all the community officers, and now you're at the party.
And normally, like, if it's the party that you've created, right? Like, Prees wasn't really, it was a thing, but it wasn't known as a thing then. Like, it didn't have a name, I don't think.
Yeah,
it was more
Prees normally applies to drinking at home and then going out. Whereas, you know, back then it was you were drinking at home and then you continue to drink at home just with more people.
Yeah, but you started off with, like, your little core group, right? And like I said, the round table. You got the knights involved.
The round table.
Round table. And so you're having a few drinks, you're getting sides going. It's up. Someone's cranking up their playlist that they've been working really hard on.
That was another thing I always had in my backpack was a spepeaker. I was the speaker guy.
Yeah, and because if the person whose house it is doesn't have a speaker, then they need to pattern up. But you might have one. So if you've got your backpack, you always have a speaker. So,
but you were a playlist guy.
I was a playlist guy, and I'm going to have a few bones to pick here, right, over my new social media fame that I've acquired over my podcast. I'm going to use this power. If you make the playlist, right, no matter how many times in that group chat you're saying, hey guys, what songs would you like on the playlist? And you've got all these pricks saying, I don't mind. And so you're trying to blend in with your new fashion vibe I've got going on that I'm experimenting in, like I said earlier. And so you've got your tunes to match it, but it will be turned off and switch to someone else's music very soon in the night. And no matter how many times you try and battle that, I'd just let it go. Because
see, I didn't. I was. I'll be honest. I was an arsehole. But only because I knew the effort my pal Jacob had put in to making that playlist.
I had put a lot, and there were tunes for everyone. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I had my own songs, which I was trying to somehow like sneak in. And hopefully it would get into their drunk minds and they would like that song now. But then there was also shit that they liked. But hey, to be fair,
I think that was more the thing. It wasn't necessarily they didn't like the playlist, but at the time they'd want a specific song. And because the playlist was on shuffle, they'd just be like, well, I can't be asked to wait for the playlist. I'm just going to plug my phone in.
Yeah, and then you end up with that weird fucking moment, though, when they've only put one song on. And then you didn't realise because you were upstairs up to no good. And you didn't realise that the fucking phone's been changed. So their song finishes and then there's this weird silence in the room.
Well, here's the thing, right? I had spidey senses for that. I kid you not. I developed some kind of spidey senses. And I remember one time being just sat in the kitchen. I was in the kitchen at this point in time, chatting with some people. and I heard music stop, not change. I could tell there was a stop, and that told me that someone had unplugged the phone. And I kid you not, you know, like in Spider-Man when there's that little zap that sort of goes into his head because it's the Spidey sense. That was me. I had this little zap that would go into my head, and I would storm across the room, just boom, 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 storming across the room. Take the speaker back, because they probably put on a bad song anyway.
Yeah, they can't have fun unless it's our fun.
Yeah, right. So my music taste is the only music taste. That's what I'm going to say.
Enjoy it and go home. No, you've got to appeal to the big group. All right, that's fine. Okay, sometimes you just got to take it. But anyway, I got involved with a lot of the games, and I chucked a few of the games out there. But in terms of the large games that I had going on, because your party, you break it in almost like, you don't try to, but it breaks into rooms, isn't it? You almost have a room and there's like fucking games going on. You have a room where there's dancing going on, and you have the boring room, which...
Hey, I like the boring room sometimes. No. I was a drifter. I drifted between all of them.
The boring room is the worst room, where you just got a few people sort of singing. Not singing. No, not singing. That's bad. They're just chatting, and they're on their own, and they're by the bags. So the bags where you've left your rucksack, all right, you've left it by these, like, because when someone has that living room where it's like you never use, like, if you go to a particular posh person's house and they have that living room, which is like the nice living room where you don't even sit, and so it's in there, and they're all sat there, and they've got their fucking rucksacks around them, and it's like they're not staying. And I don't like the boring room, and put an end to the boring room now.
No, I think the boring room's good because when beefs kick off, and sometimes I'm just not in the mood for it. The one place beef never kicks off? The boring room.
And if it does happen in the boring room, it's fucking chaos. You see the absolute fear in these people's eyes.
But it is the funniest thing ever.
I would drift it. The only time I go in the boring room is if I was looking for alcohol to steal or something like that, and then I'd end up sort of having a weird chat with someone, and I didn't want to. They'd be like, "Are you a bit drunk?" Yes, I'm fucking a bit drunk. All right, don't bring the mood down. So you leave the boring room as soon as you can.
But other than the boring room, you mentioned it slightly there. Games room. Now that was my room.
That was yours.
I think I always took the wheel when it came to the games room. Beer pong. Too many stories about beer pong to remember. I know. To be honest, I'm not the best at beer pong. I think people thought I was really good at beer pong because somehow at every party, last shot, I'd pull off a trick shot. I don't know how. I literally don't know how, because if you ask me to throw a straight shot, I'm telling you, 90% of the time that's missing. But so many times I'd pull off trick shots that I think I managed to convince people I was actually good at it. But yeah, beer pong, King's Cup, and sadly, Truth or Dare. Back at that age.
The thing about the Truth or Dare, though, that would come more towards the end, when you've got like a sort of.
Well, all the prees. That's how you get sort of warmed up.
It would be a bit like weird. And imagine this, right? You've got in the middle of a party, games room, okay, and then it's all fucking going, and then suddenly you've got this guy coming over going, "Hi, I've been dared to kiss you." It's like, fuck off, mate. I'm trying to she's trying to dance in the middle of the thing, have a fun time, and he's got "Hi, it's a dare." You go, no, okay, it's at a certain time and place.
To be fair though, I think I could say that would definitely happen in some places, but we were pretty grounded with our Truth or Dares. It was normally just making you do something embarrassing rather than basically just doing something weird.
Yeah, it's like the American high school films where they're like, "Hey, you guys have to go in the cupboard for what?"
Oh, was it 7 seconds in heaven? 7 minutes in heaven?
Like, what's it called? What's it with your membership card?
I've actually never played it, and the thing is, it's a thing in England as well.
Is it? I've only seen it in American films, and every time I've been like, "This is weird."
I only recently found out it was a thing in England because some guys I know from uni, as a joke, they sort of brought it up again, and they played it, but they didn't actually play it. It was like the two guys who brought it up got put into a cupboard together for 7 minutes. That's basically what it was.
No, ours wasn't that. Anyway, it's what we're saying. Ours was dumb shit, or sometimes mildly dangerous stuff.
I will never forget the sound of this. This is another little shout out, Jamie. I would never forget the sound of you hitting the floor as you fell out of that tree.
No, mate, because I found that quite frightening. Because I was in the garden. I was having to have a proper chat with someone because Jacob's drama at the time, okay, was at an all-time high. All right, and I was having to have a chat, and then suddenly from a fucking he's like one of those jumping, what are they? Those fucking bears that jump out the trees and try and kill tourists. He literally from high. It was a high tree. This wasn't a little tree.
Yeah.
It was like an oak tree, and it was like a high one, and he fell. And because he was a tree climber, and a real good fucking skill of his, but he fell.
A parkourer.
Well, sort of. I think just no fear. He just fell, and he landed flat on his back, literally just boom. And the noise was you could feel it through the grass. And he just got up and kept going. And I thought he was broken ribs minimum, but he was fine. He loved it.
The power of alcohol, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so that was the sort of thing that we would have got, or jump down the stairs was one that I would do quite often, jumping down the stairs. Things like that, which again, don't do it. Right, it's dangerous and bad.
I don't think I ever really did any dangerous ones. To be fair, I know mine were often just down this, down that. Because I think, especially back then, again, because I hit my growth spurt before most people, I could handle my alcohol a little bit better. So people just wanted to see me get really drunk.
I'm so mature.
Sorry, listen, I can't help it. All right, I'm just.
I'd read.
I'm just built different. All right, what can I say?
Yeah, well, so you've got that going on. All right, you then got the smoking area, right, which as the years went on grew, okay, because people would slowly take the plunge, all right, to go into the smoking area. There would be several reasons for the smoking area. Either you were a smoker and you enjoyed it, and that's fair enough, or you had this party scenario, and they would say a girl you liked outside, and she was smoking, and so you had to go out and be like, yeah, let's take one of those, boys, quick. You sort of pop your head round the door as if you were God, I've got to jump out for a cigarette. But let's have one of those, man. But inside, you're doing that thing where you just puff your cheeks, and they're you're not even doing it properly. I'm like, maybe it's not your method, but this is how I choose to do it. So you've got that area.
I know nothing of the smoking area. I wasn't a smoker. I wasn't into smokers. So, yeah, just putting that out there, Mum, if you ever hear this, that was not me. I was never there.
Mum, I was just experimenting with my youth. That's fine. No, but it would be quite a nice place to be fair. Some people didn't go out to smoke; they just went out for a chat. So you go out in the cool air. It's nice, and you can have a little chat.
Yeah, I mean that's what in a club nowadays. That's what I'd use the smoking area for. Is just to get a bit of air and chat.
Then you get the guy whose house it is, because he's fucking on edge the whole time, and even if you're talking at a fairly normal volume, he comes running out and he's like, guys, keep it down, the neighbours can hear you. It's all right, mate. So he kills the vibe every now and again. But.
Yeah, but I mean, you were a good host, to be fair. You never got too stressed about things. But I can understand, because if I was hosting something, I'd probably have my knickers in a twist.
I much preferred going to parties than hosting them. You can't get as fucked if it's your party, because you've got to do things it's this difference having a house party at uni, where it's you haven't got an ornament that your gran gave you sort of on the mantelpiece when she's valuable, and it's a house where you can trash, whereas your actual home one, it's you've got your family member shit, so it's more stress. So ideally go to someone else's house, all right?
Yeah.
Or get someone else to have it, even if you're hosting, sort of you're in the round table, get someone else's house, not your own.
That is the luxury I always had. I was in the round table, I had influence, but I never had any pressure.
But again, after the pandemic.
Yeah. I will say that, actually, yeah. Just in the middle of this, pandemic's a serious thing, all right? Keep your masks on. Don't be partying.
If you're partying and you're putting it on your story, I just think you're a bellend. You're not good.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not partying right now. You know why? Because I don't want to kill anyone.
Yeah. And Casey right there is the fucking biggest bloody partier you ever seen.
I am mental. You guys can't even tell.
You really can't tell.
You really can't tell.
But I'm sitting here in my fucking room, and I have been for 20 days or whatever it is, years. So do the same. Don't be a bellend. Get this plan locked in, and you've got it sorted.
But yeah, I mean, you're back in the party, right? You're back in the party, and I will say, you haven't reached the after party yet, because you've got different phases of the party.
You do.
So it starts off, right? And the initial phase is I like the initial phase, because no one's too drunk. Everyone's chatting, even if it's not someone that even if it's someone you're not too keen on. You make conversation because you're all relaxed. You've had a couple ciders at that point.
There's no beefs at that time.
Yeah, no beefs. Then you're at the peak of the party, and at this point you're waiting for it. Like, you know it's coming.
But the beefs still aren't there at the peak. The peak is like proper, like, I don't know, the peak is only a few hours long, but like it's like everyone's there, right, and more people are coming in because they've heard about it. But it's still good. It's still good fun. And then you hit it's not the end stage. It's
well,
still,
I suppose the peak is ended by the beef.
Yeah, well, the beef only ever really comes out. For some reason, it's like when like 5 people would be like, all right then, guys, I've got to go now. And it's like, not everyone's gone. Like, it's still a minimum, but you've got that little thing. But the party's still not in the after party stage. It's in its main, but it's at the trouble stage. It's like, here we go. This is when the bad things happen.
Yeah, you can tell like one person's maybe getting a little bit too drunk. You can tell one person's getting a bit tired and annoyed or whatever. Maybe it's even the host. You know,
someone's got the getting with people that is occurring at this very very time, which means that there's always people knocking on the doors because it's good fun.
Yeah, can't lie. Gonna be honest, I did that far too often.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a prick move. It is a bit of a prick move, but it's also, when you're drunk, come on, that is one of the funniest things.
It's funny. If you're the person who's having the door knocked on, it's very annoying, right? But come on. It's
I think, though, at the ripe age of 21 that I am now, I wouldn't find it that funny anymore. I respect people's space a bit more now. But back then, it's like...
Yeah, back then, it was like the first fucking occurrence of this happening, because you'd only just grown slightly. So
plus, half the time it's like, what, you're getting a little smooch in there. You're not gonna, you're not gonna be there 5 years later, just sort of like, oh, I didn't get that one peck. I didn't get that.
Yeah. Fuck. Thanks a lot, Casey.
Jacob. Fuck Casey.
I'm not going to that reunion. Yes. So that's when trouble arises, and it's normally from like that week at school. There's been a little bit of something going on. It's not kicked off yet, but it's something. And then it's gone fucking under the water. And then at this stage, bang, it comes popping back up. And it's people who are having a fight, but they don't really want to have a fight, so they don't fight.
Yeah, that's the thing. We were never, I don't think you and I were ever really beef boys, so to speak. We never got in arguments with anyone.
Apart from with you, mate.
What, me and you?
Yeah, all the time. At each other, mate.
At each other's throats.
No, just joking. Love you.
Love you too.
Yeah.
But lots of love. Spread the love, by the way, guys. Tell your friend you love them. Just right now. Just pull up your phone.
Now.
Message your best mate. Say, love you, bro. Or gal. Or bud. Or pal. They're non-gender.
Yeah. nice message there. So the beefs you got to be concerned about, the max really for us was an argument and a bit of pushing. There was never really...
And then you'd sort of have to, like... I think, again, typically it was you or I that would sort of slide in the middle and just be like, come on, fellas. Like,
come on, lads.
Do we need this right now?
Not worth it.
and then more often than not, one of them would probably, like, try and go at you then. You know, they'd be like, get out of my way. And then if you stay there, if you don't get out of the way, they'll probably be like, well, shit, that didn't work. And then they'll probably pull back.
They say, get out of my way, as if they're like, you really don't want to do this. It's like, you haven't got anything planned, mate.
Yeah, you just look at them a bit confused, and they're like, yeah, that was a bit of a weird thing to say, actually, wasn't it? Yeah,
you just go, come on, mate. Like, a bit embarrassing.
It's kind of like I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. And then they'll be like, yeah.
I didn't think it would be you, mate. Come on. It's just getting to an embarrassing stage, especially as fact, again, my bloody Old Spice has worn off because it was on the discount rail for a while. And the girl I'm walking past is no longer getting those whiffs of Old Spice goodness. They're just getting pure Thatchers that I've spilt down.
It's just your nasty, nasty breath at that point.
Nice, thanks. But the after party is your section. You're a big fan of the after party.
Yes, I am. I'm a huge fan of the after party. Mainly because, again, the same reason I am fine with the boring room, because I'll probably find myself in the boring room by the end of the night. Because because the boring room, they always stay out that beef, And the beef tends to happen towards the end of the night. So the boring room is the perfect place when everyone's starting to get a bit weird. You just slide in there and you just chat with the boring room people. Which, to clarify, they're not boring people. They're probably just not alcoholics.
The boring room grows in power as the night goes on, and because someone like comes in, because what could happen is someone could have had a beef, right, and then they retreat to the boring room to talk to the boring room people, right, about the beef, which then becomes DMC, and then people, for some reason, as they're mellowing down, they want to get involved, unless you're sort of like me upstairs, jumping downstairs again.
No one else is even asking you to do it anymore. You're just still there.
I'm like going up to people I barely know, going, "I bet you dare me to jump down the stairs."
Do you want to see something cool? That's what you're like.
They're like, "No, I'm leaving," and it was like, "Nah, hang about." But yeah, so the boring room then grows. People are going in, and then the boring room comes the fucking boring downstairs. It just fucking grows in power, and it's no longer restricted to a room, and that's when Casey takes control.
All right, to clarify, I'm not like a boring room leader or anything. Right.
No, you're not the boring room leader.
In fact, I often liven up the boring room because I could get along with them well, but I'll be honest, I'm not crazy about DMCs, especially at parties.
You love them.
No. If it's just you and one other person when the party's over, that's fine. But when the party's still going on, I'm not going to bring the mood down. I hate people that bring the mood down. If you've got something serious happening, all right, fair enough. I'm not trying to... I'm not trying to discount anyone, but generally speaking, half the time...
They're never normally serious.
Yeah, especially at that age. You're probably just complaining about, like, someone who didn't invite you on a walk last week. And it's like...
Hey, the walk's where it happens.
Especially, and I'm gonna say it, all right? It's always the one girl group that you had to invite because they were popular, but they were the ones that brought the DMCs as well that just didn't matter.
Yeah, they don't matter, the DMCs, and they just keep going on. And it's like, the thing is as well, I don't get why, because you never want to bring up this thing which is troubling you at the time, and then you've got like some bloke you don't know who you sort of like do history with or something, and he's like, you've seen him in this environment of the fucking history world, all right, this classroom, and now he's chipping in about, yeah, well, that reminds me of a time of my life. It's like, no, mate, right? I don't want you there. So that's why.
He's like, yeah, George III actually said something about that.
It's like, mate, we're not in class anymore.
Shakespeare's quote. He just starts bringing stuff up.
Or it's like someone that you purely invited because you were still planning as it had gone from a free period to your lesson, and then he caught wind of it because he happened to live, like, or not live, practically live, but like sit 2 fucking seats away.
I mean, everyone lived in the same vicinity. Like, the kind of parties we're talking about, it wasn't hard to hear when a party was happening.
No. And you'd get people messaging you on Facebook and stuff like that. It was back in the Facebook days.
People you didn't even know. I know you've got stories about that, just people that you didn't even know popping up in your message requests. Just saying, hey, I know you don't know me, but I'm a friend of this person. Reckon
hey, man.
Come in.
Hey, man, can I come along? It's like, no. And then they're like, I won't be any trouble. It's like, I don't think you're going to be in trouble. I just don't know who you are, mate.
Yeah.
You won't be there. Well, basically, mate, I don't know about you. Oh, no, we're not even at the end. You now, if you've managed to stay over at the house, okay, because you're in that fucking core alliance of the round table, you get to stay in the house, which is good. But really, you're now very much left with the round table boys, who are all incredibly drunk.
Well, to be fair, just before that is helping and getting rid of some of the time the proper drunkards.
I don't know. I let them dwell.
I don't know, because more often than not, again, because I was probably less drunk than most people there, I'd have someone come over to me and be like, so and so needs to get home, or this or that, and I'd sort of be like, all right, I'll go and help him. Whether it was from just like, soft words trying to convince someone to get the fuck out of the bed, or like.
I encouraged them, if anything. So I feel we were both going against different. We were working together, but you were getting them to leave, and I was saying, no, stay around.
Yeah, you're the one that's annoying me because I'm there like, shut up, can you stop? We're trying to get them out.
You don't even see me doing it though. I sort of like, you come in and tell them to go, and then you go to focus someone else, and I come fucking sneak it in.
You're waiting by the door, so that just when they leave, you're sort of like, where are you going?
Yeah,
stick around, have another one.
Come on. We need to talk about history together. And so I keep the history man there. And boom. He's now
But I often found myself having to deal with like people that were too drunk, or even the people starting beef. Just have to sometimes be like, look, mate, if you're pissed off, just go home. Like, if you're not gonna have a good night, just head home or something.
Beef is kind of entertaining though. It's sort of there.
Yeah, it's entertaining to a point.
Yeah, if it gets like too over, or if it's rubbish beef, if it's just people arguing, it's like this is.
Well, that's
rubbish.
the thing. It's normally funny for about 15 minutes, and then after that, everyone starts to be a bit like, no one actually cares anymore. Yeah,
Rubbish.
but they're still going around trying to say people. Don't you think that was like really unfair? And it's like I've forgotten about it at this point. I'll be honest with you.
If they come to me, rig out, about to forward roll down the stairs.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob, don't you think that was really out of order? And I'm like in my fucking war paint rolling down. No, it's not.
But you're the one. You're the one that goes, yes, that was outrageous.
Yeah, I'm never gonna go. No, mate, come on. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, fuck it is. You should get one of those, like, you remember where you get like the cider bottles in like a 2-litre plastic bottle, and they were like the horriblest stuff. I'd be like, launch one of them at him, piss him off, get it started. And I'd fucking feed these ideas, and then as soon as they start kicking off, I'm like, what are you doing, man? And they look at me like, betrayal. So
they're sort of like, no, but you, and you're like, nah,
I'm like, why would I?
Don't even drag me into this, mate.
Yeah, I was like, come on, mate, fight your own battles, you weirdo. And then boom, entertainment.
Yeah, that's how you turn the beef entertaining again.
Boom, and we're back on. But I can't keep doing that. You know, you have to let it die.
Tips and tricks for bringing a bit of fun back into the beef.
That stir the pot a bit.
Get him to throw a bottle at someone, not a glass one. To clarify, not a glass one.
Not a glass one, because that turned beef into a new level, and we don't want that. All right, so plastic bottles, bit of fun. But then, yeah, you get to the bit right at the end where there's the remaining people sleeping over, and you have to like delegate the rooms, right? And I remember me and you had to share on a few occasions. The most memorable being the Casey, I'm gonna be ill.
Yeah. So for a bit of context, this is probably one of the most drunk I've ever seen Jacob, and I
was concussed as well because can you remember?
You say you were concussed, but you know,
mate, I fell from head first and hit my head on a skirting board. I was out.
Was this by any chance when you were going down the stairs?
No, that's the thing. This is before. I remember that, like the Monday after, I said to a girl, I was like, "Shame you couldn't." One of our mates, I was like, "Shame you couldn't make it in the end." She was like, "I was looking after you, mate, for like half an hour. I literally had no record." But anyway, yeah. So that was one of our most memorable stays.
Yeah. So drunk, concussed, and I'm just trying to sleep at this point. It was probably like 4 a.m. and I'm like, mate, I've got to wake up the next morning, go back and I don't know, do something. And you're just there like, Casey, I think I'm going to throw up. And this isn't just one time. This is at least 4 times throughout the night. You woke me up saying that you were going to be sick. And the first 3 times, me being a good friend, I took you there. And you didn't throw up once. So by the 4th time, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing this anymore.
But you know what that is? That is friendship. And that right there is the root of our podcast, I feel. That one evening.
Yeah, that one that's actually where the name comes from.
Yes.
Because you wouldn't shut up.
Oh. Oh. But yeah, we basically, right, outlined to you right there a rural teenagers party. And you don't even have to say thank you, all right?
Yeah.
We just...
Any of this, you know, in case you were trying to figure out how you could do it yourselves, again, not promoting it. And for anyone that is of age now, that is just trying to live their memories again. I hope something in this, you were there sat thinking, oh God. I don't want like a happy memory. I want one of those, oh God, yeah. No, I remember that.
Yeah, not a bad one, but like one where it's just like, yeah, that's, boom, he's in it. Because I feel, like I said, I think that party, apart from the occasional bloke falling out of a tree and stuff like that, I feel people will relate to that. All right, I hope so.
But yeah, I suppose the final guideline that we came up with, at least, not a guideline, but breakdown, I'd say, to put it in titles, right? You got the prep, which mainly involves the list and the location.
And the idea.
Yeah. And then you got the alcohol, which, you know, that involves the supplier, as well as the journey. Because that's actually a fun part, I'll be honest. I miss the journeys were always fun. I think being the backpack boy Made it a little bit more special.
You're really excited because you're going to what you think is going to be the best night of your life.
Then you got the actual party where you got the games. Favorite part for me. You got the boring room. You got
the dancing and the playlist.
The dance in the playlist.
And
you got the peak, and you got the droughts. and then you end it off with the after party, which bit of DMC.
Minimal though. Keep it minimal.
Yeah, keep it minimal. End it off with a nice little committee chat, nice round table chat, as you put it. Staring up at the ceiling, just speaking into the
when
universe.
When you said committee chat, I was really imagining like handing out their sort of folders and their badges and their uniforms for next week. Not that.
But I think those are probably parts that anyone who's done this has probably experienced every single one of those parts. There's no way you haven't, unless you just weren't that involved.
Yeah, unless you were just unless you were the fucking person in my message requests who managed to sneak in, then you wouldn't have enjoyed any of that.
Or unless you were just jumping on the bandwagon. That, I respect it. At the end of the day, you get a free party out of it. But countless people never put any effort into this preparation. Now they can understand the work that we put in, the shift we put in.
You might have just not been invited, because no one likes it. And in that case, enjoy X Factor on the fucking Saturday night, bit of Strictly as well, and an all-time great laugh. But I think the main bit of advice I'm going to give, try and have it at someone else's house.
If that's going to be your bit of advice, my bit of advice is going to be, don't enter the boring room until the end of the night.
Don't enter the boring room. That's mine as well.
Because it's a trap. It's a trap, so don't enter till the end of the night.
Trap, and they won't let you leave. All right. But also, remember, again, I kept saying it, not now. When we can do this.
Yeah. Be a good person. Wear your mask.
That was a fun podcast. I liked doing that one.
That was good. Yeah, no, that was fun. Hope everyone enjoyed as well. If you want to shout out, by the way, like we shouted out our biggest fans, Harry and Lucy, we'll shout you out. So send us a message.
You can. We're even going to enter, that thing Cameo, where you can pay us to do a birthday message. We might as well. We will get a couple of people involved.
But yeah, be ready for the next one. We'll see you soon, I suppose.
Yeah, next one, we don't know what sort of vibe we'll do. We'll either do one like this, or if we come across a cool topic, we'll do something like that. We'll see what we do.
But I hope this gives a better idea of what the podcast is going to be. Sometimes just doing these fun topics, and sometimes doing actually interesting things.
Yeah. So, again, if you've got to this stage...
And now go do something actually useful with your life.